Welcome to the Make Me Whole podcast. I'm your host, Josette Rosado, and it's time to talk getting past what's difficult, trusting our own abilities to do more, and keeping it that way. Hey everyone, I'm so glad that you're here and that you've tuned in today. I am going to freestyle this a little more than what I normally would do because my heart is heavy. I think many of you know by now that I love the work that I do. And for the most part, the interactions that I have with the clients that I meet with and get to talk to is in the direction of something positive for them, some kind of resolution or work towards a resolution to either a crisis or a problem that they might be going through. And I do get validated because they come back. Some of them will come back until we recognize that they've finished what they came for. And others have stayed with me for so long because they recognize the value of therapy and the fact that they have been able to work through ups and downs for several years. I've had my share of kids who've worked with me from the time of middle school through high school and now on to college, even if it's just a maintenance visit. Today, my heart is heavy because I tried so hard to help somebody. We worked really diligently to make sure that their problem was being resolved. We've been doing this for a while. And out of nowhere, things spiraled and they're in crisis. I can't get into the details, but what I will say is that this is a person who I hold great esteem for. I really love them. I think they're great. But I know they're suffering. And I know that the decisions that they have to make for themselves were never easy. And so to get to a point of where crisis brings about your decision making, well, that's never, ever a good place to be in. Okay, so why am I talking about this? Well, this client isn't the only client I've spoken to this week or ever about what it's like to manage crisis before the crisis. When you're in a situation where you're involved with another person and it seems like that relationship is becoming volatile, abusive, violent, disrespectful, just overall hell. There are times where we have to step back and take the opportunity to decide what is it we want for ourselves. Take a time out and decide what's not working and what we feel needs to change. Recognize that we're never really ever on our own, even though it's a dark place and it is difficult to think that anybody would ever understand what you're going through. When you're in a partnership that you thought was going to be forever, and now you're thinking, how soon can I get out of here? The fact that you would think that you'd have to be on your own and making those decisions. I mean, are we ever really truly alone? Do we worry about the opinions of others? Do we consider that maybe we're not turning in the directions that we know would suit us best because our ego is engaged, or the fear of what people are going to say or what they're going to think is too strong? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's because we want to keep things together. We don't want to lose. We want some kind of story of success to come out of all of our efforts. And we think if we stick around, it'll just get better because we put our entire selves in it. We loved, we cared for, we showed that we were committed. Sometimes you have to step away. All the signs are there. You know them. There's times where it was good and then it's not. where they're loud and angry and then loving. It pains me to know that there would ever be somebody out there who would feel like they don't have any solutions. They don't have a friend that they can turn to. They don't have somebody that they feel they can, to get out of this relationship that doesn't serve them at all. It just doesn't serve them anymore. I'm telling you, there are people out there. It's about making the right connections sometimes, but sometimes it's just about talking about it and allowing yourself to recognize what your worth is, what you deserve, no matter how many times you're told different. And let me tell you, if there's anyone out there who is going through this and doesn't know what to do or who to talk to, reach out to me. Tell me what you need. Let me be of help. Sometimes as a therapist, I go back to my social worker roots where I just want to solve the world's problems. And I know that I can't do it for everyone. And today my heart is heavy because I couldn't stop this from happening, because it wasn't in my control, because I don't control what happens to other people. But I'll be here. I'll be here to give my support. I'll be here to help guide the next steps. I'll allow for those who want to trust me so that we'll get through it together. I guess that's what I wanted to get out there. You're just never really alone. You need to hear this. If you're never really alone, and if you need to go and get out of a really bad relationship, do it, because it's not going to get better. And it's not going to be your job to fix it. You're better than that. You deserve happy and a life full of smiles, laughter, love. Again, it just takes turning your head to the right person, picking up the phone. There's so many places that we can reach out to here in the Charleston area. There's an 800 number for My Sister's Place. For anyone, male or female, who's looking for assistance in getting out of their home. There are agencies in the state that provide housing and provide financial assistance. I'm putting it out there. Don't do it alone. Don't give up on what you can do. Don't let the messages of the past be your truth. Reach out. Someone will be there. Someone who can help. Someone who sees who you are and values the person that you can be. You need to hear this. You're not alone. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I want to give out some numbers just in case people in the South Carolina area are interested or need services. There is an organization called My Sister's Place, and the number is 1-800-799-7233. And there is also the South Carolina Victims Assistance Network, and they can be reached at 803-750-1200. Not our typical type of podcast, but I felt so passionate about discussing this today. As always, I thank you guys so much for listening and appreciate the time you spend with me here. If you need to, please reach out. Our email address is makemewhole@bossesofbliss.com. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Bosses of Bliss, and on TikTok at Blissful Boss. Remember, complain less and do more, and I'll definitely see you next time.